Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast. I'm your host, Eric Malzone, and this is episode number 32. And I have the pleasure of talking to Jeff Martin. He is the co-founder, along with his wife, of the BrandX method. So formerly known as CrossFit Kids, they are the world leader in youth fitness. And we have a big problem nowadays between sedentary lifestyles, childhood obesity, single sport specialization at a young age. Kids are having less fun, they're moving less, and their health is being affected in a big, big way. And these people have taken that challenge. They've made it their own. They made it their own responsibility, and they're making a dent in things. And it's really cool. I was very inspired, especially with what they're doing with teaching kids resiliency, not just in the gym or in sport, but in life, which is a really necessary function nowadays. They talked about how if you want to get into the area or the specialty of coaching kids, how to do it. And his big advice, which really resonated with me, was don't treat it like a market. Treat it like the desire to help kids, because it's completely different. You can't treat kids or coach kids the same way you would coach adults. And it takes time to learn the differences. So you just got to get in and start doing it, and do it for the love. And don't worry about the money. That'll come secondary. This is a much more important thing. So like I said, I was personally very inspired by Jeff. They do amazing work, and you could tell just from hearing him talk that they do it for the love, and they do it because it's absolutely necessary. And I have a ton of respect. So without further ado, this is episode number 32. This is Jeff Martin of BrandX Method. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Eric with the Future of Fitness podcast. And today I am the absolute pleasure of talking to Jeff Martin from BrandX. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hi Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited. I think you're a pretty funny guy, dude. I'm really I'm fired up for this interview. But I'm really excited to talk about BrandX because I think you guys are doing something very worthwhile, and I know you're passionate about what it is. So maybe if you could just give us, a couple minutes of introduction into what BrandX is, and I know your story is a long one, so maybe kind of condense it into how you got into where you're at.
Okay, I'll condense it down to what we do.
Awesome.
My wife and I have been working in functional fitness for kids for about 15 years, and developed a couple different programs. This latest iteration, the BrandX method, is really taking all of the experience that we've gotten over a decade of working with kids, and taking what we thought was good out of that and adding things in that we thought were important. We think that it's very important. Our idea is that we want to always have the concept or the thought in our heads, what is best for kids. So our methodology is based on our experience as well as the things the science, and it's informed by those things. But it also changes. I mean, we're starting to see things that we're adding in that are important. Things like the concept of physical literacy, like teaching kids how to be good at movement, and this idea that they're confident, competent, and able to apply what their physicality to whatever they want to do in life, not just be stuck in a single sport. The idea that play is important. Just the idea that free play is important. We're starting modules on the psychology of training kids. So we have our first module is coming out, we think, probably next month, is on resiliency. How do you train children to be resilient? So we're seeing a lot of things in society that we see. We're seeing a lot of things, and we're trying to be more to have the ability to address those things that are coming up in society that are affecting our kids. So we don't want to just be wedded to a single methodology or a single idea of what fitness is, and try to reach out and incorporate the new science that's coming out, and also with that new science address the things that are coming up that maybe people who don't work with kids aren't yet seeing. Kelly Starrett and Juliet Starrett started a organization called Stand Up Kids. We're on the advisory board with them, and their idea is to get kids. Kids sit all day long at school, and then get them standing desks, get kids standing. But as a person who sees kids come into the gym and has watched a really rapid decline in physical abilities of kids coming into the gym, this is this sitting all day long, being stuck to computers and tablets and phones and screen time is really causing a problem that probably parents don't see yet. And it's going to be, I think, as devastating a problem as obesity and type 2 diabetes that people are aware of. We're seeing kids come into the gym now that can't do things like, a 10-year-old kid who's played sports, who can't skip, who can't bear crawl, can't hold himself on a pull-up bar, simply just can't. I'm not saying do a pull-up, but cannot hold his body weight on a pull-up bar. Kids who have spent so much time with their screen that they cannot take their thoracic region and straighten it up, simply unable to do it. And those things need to be addressed. And, they certainly need to be addressed before you tell some kid, here, lift this weight and go really fast. We have to be agile in our programming and being able to, in what we're teaching to trainers to address these things.
Oh, that's great.
What we're going to see, we're already starting to see this rise in injuries within sport. We're going to start to see that. I think even become even more, and kids just being unable to play sport safely.
So what do you attribute to? Is it all of those things you mentioned? I completely see.
On and on.
Yeah, you're really deep. You're really taking a deep dive into this. Let's take it back because I want to explain to people who, the fitness professionals who are listening to this, what is it that BrandX offers to the fitness community? Like, are you guys train people? Do you offer affiliation? Like, what is it that you guys offer?
Yeah, so let's kind of take a step back, if you don't mind. We have a gym. And we've been training kids with fitness for about 15 years. And we've certainly learned a great deal along the way. We call our gym the lab. This is where we try new things. We test out new things, and then we move that into what you're asking for. What you're asking about. We have courses. Online right now we have 2 courses: a basic course and an advanced course. We do a live course where we have an advanced course. We teach the advanced course material. We teach a youth barbell course where we focus on the squat and the deadlift, the 2 primary lifts we should be teaching kids. How to lift something up safely off the ground. And then we're expanding in our offerings. So we're having modules come out. We have a module by the end of this month on how to teach to clean to kids from age from the young ones, age 5 and 6 to the teenagers. And then we have, like I said, the resiliency module that's coming out, and kind of under a psychology, like how do we teach kids to be, how do we as coaches be better coaches and help kids become better people versus just better at squatting. And then we have something that we're moving toward in this coming year, where we have an idea of expanding our offering to a 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month like internship type thing, where you can become really go in depth in how to train kids. So we started at the beginning with these online courses where we feel that if somebody wants to train kids, whether they're 6 years old or 15 years old, there's unique things you need to know to safely train children. You can't just scale down an adult program and have it be optimal for the child. So really basic online courses that people could take and give themselves some understanding. And then we're trying to expand that into people who really want to be dedicated to training kids or training the next generation of athletes. And that's really kind of where we're continuing to expand with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I keep hearing more and more about BrandX. I'm curious.
We also do have a training center program, which we're being pretty selective about, but people apply to be a training center and then they can use our name to advertise. But with the training center, we have some pretty strict quality control things that we're doing. We're once a month mentoring calls, Skype calls like this, where we sit down and talk. They send often they send video of their classes. We discuss how they can, what they're doing really well, what they can do better, and things like that. And really, the idea is to, if you're using our name, to standardize the outcomes of what comes out. A lot of gyms, a lot of brands, or some brands have a lot of gyms. And you walk into one gym and it's just a fantastic gym. You walk into the next gym using the same name and it's terrible. What we want is to standardize the outcomes, standardize the training, standardize the methodology in which you teach the kids. So the BrandX method. How do we teach kids to do things? So that really is a lot of info right there.
It's awesome. I love what you guys are doing. I feel very fortunate and very grateful the fact that I got into sports at such an early age. And it's not because I had extremely athletic parents. It's actually because I had asthma. So I had to get into swimming as part of it. And then that springboarded me into a bunch of different things.
Fellow swimmer with asthma.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. So you know how it goes. It changed the trajectory of my life. And it's been such an integral part of my life, athletics have been for such a very long time, all the way through CrossFit into my 30s. But I think, I'm the thing that's I'm really curious about is the psychology of it and teaching kids resiliency, because I don't have kids, but I know I'm 6 nieces and nephews. I've coached a lot of kids. How do you see resiliency being an issue right now with younger generations, and how are you approaching that?
I have teachers in my family.
Okay.
And they talked about how over the last decade, the society has kind of changed. And I'm hoping I'm going to veer into the answer that you want. But they say this, and I see it myself, that parents are removing kids from the lessons of life, from the common lessons of life. So one of my teachers in my family saw a young kid get into her purse and steal some money. And he was in pre-K.
Wow.
So she called the parents up. Wasn't a big deal. Come in, and then the parents were, "Why did you leave the purse out? Why did you do these things?" And that's removing the child from learning the lessons of what life is like. And the teaching of resiliency is not to remove the child from those lessons. So we'll have, like in our gym, we'll have kids now, and this is totally different than it was 5 years ago, where a parent might take a child out of the weightlifting class for 3 to 5 months. We're going to do something else. We're going to play a sport. We're going to come out. Child comes back in, and now he's not where his friends are, and I want to lift what my friends are lifting, and that's a totally understandable thing when you're 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
Well, instead of the parents going to the child, you know what? You took 3 or 5 months off to play baseball or basketball, or just it was the summer and we want to do a whole lot of family things. And now you're going to apply yourself to these things and learn and work your way back up. They'll take the kid out. Well, that's that's a lost lesson in life, and life is going to hit that child hard when it gets to be in, when he's working. And so you want to present these opportunities. So teaching resiliency, you want to present these opportunities where kids have to struggle and move forward, and then give them the tools to face adversity, give them the tools to face failure and move forward. And that's what we kind of talk about in the resiliency module. What tools do they need? How do you provide these things? What kind of positive speak do you use when you're talking to the child? In our advanced course, we talk about positive coaching and the idea that children have this emotional tank. When kids come into our gyms, you don't know what kind of day they've had. You can't just, we try to spend at least a couple 15, 20 seconds looking at every kid in the eye going, how's your day? What's going on? How's school? Cool, I'm out. But you've at least given them some idea, and then you start trying to fill that emotion tank. People won't take risks if they don't feel good about themselves. So if you're all constantly defending yourself against the world, you'll never take a risk. So I want my kids to feel good when they come to the gym. I want to tell them what they're doing well, and I want to give them that ability to go, like, I'm doing really well here in the gym. I'm going to go ahead and take a risk and try something new.
That's awesome. I love that. I love the fact that you're essentially taking ownership and responsibility of that challenge and pushing forward. I think it's very much needed. When you guys are doing, if someone's doing the BrandX way or the BrandX method, right, and they're coaching, how do you integrate?
I like the BrandX way. That's kind of like the cowboy way. That's
That sounds good, right? That's for free, man. That's all you. Take it, run with it.
Awesome.
How do you integrate and how do you mix together like free play and fitness and training, right? Because training's not always fun, right? But
it shouldn't, because that's teaching the wrong lesson, right?
Right.
It's teaching the wrong lesson. Yeah, everything you have to do to get better is fun. That's the wrong lesson. Right. But so I'm going to talk about it from my area of expertise, which is preteen and teens. Okay. And kind of a couple ideas of what we'll do. We'll do let's say you come in, you do your skill work, you do your warm up, you do your skill work, you do prep work. So we have our way our workout is outlined is warm up is general outline, skill work. Skill is whatever skill we're working on. It's going to be in the workout, in the conditioning workout. Kids come in, they do prep work. It's specifically to activate the movement patterns and muscles that are associated with the conditioning class. They do the conditioning class. Now we have an option. I can either go to another skill work, or we're working on handstands or levers or something like that, or I can have them play. So one of the things we'll do is say, hey, preteens and teens, I want you guys to start over there on that side of the room, and I want you to make it all the way around the gym without getting on the floor. Good. You guys make it up. Or, hey guys, here's a bunch of, my more advanced kids, here's a bunch of obstacles. You guys make up a handstand obstacle course. And now you're giving them the idea, and then they just play with it and let them go, go at it. We brought in games, different things. So we'll bring in, everybody plays dodgeball. We'll do crazy line dodgeball where we put the lines all squiggly and we make them, let's make the rule. Let's change the rules. So, and have them change the rules. So that's more directed play. We have free play, just allowing them, hey, I want you to do this thing and make up whatever you can on that. And we have directed play. We have a game we call hillbilly basketball, where we set up 3 or 4 different heights, boxes, and turn over one box so you can throw a 4-pound medicine ball or 6-pound medicine ball in. Divide the kids up into teams, and you just, hey, no real rules. Ball hits the ground, next person grabs it. That's what we do, and just keep the ball moving. And this basket's worth 3 points. That basket's worth 5. This one's worth 1. And a lot of hillbilly stuff going on in Ramona. But that's it's just an idea. At the end, last 15 minutes of class, here's an idea. I'm going to direct you a little bit, maybe. So we have, the idea of free play where there's no direction, just here's an idea, go play with it. And then directed play, hillbilly basketball will be directed play. Okay, there's 3 rules to this. You guys make up the rest of it. Go. That's how you incorporate it in the preteen teen class. Kids class, I think, is a little bit easier. Mikki will do things like bring out. She got like Legos, and she'll go, I want you guys to, we're going to go 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. So you go 2 minutes of burpees and box jumps, and 2 minutes of playing with the Legos, and 2 minutes of this, and then 2 minutes of that, and then maybe some direction. I want you as a team, I want 2 teams. I want you guys, we're going to go 2 minutes of this, and then you guys are going to build blank, blank, blank with the Legos. And 3, 2, 1, go, and I got 2 teams, and they're building whatever she's directing, but they have to work together to do that. And so that's kind of the idea behind play. And Mikki's the expert. I'm barely the expert in anything, but she's the expert on play. She's just really delved into this, and she can talk about all of the benefits and of play, and all of the negatives that happen if you don't allow kids to play. And we're, and now I'm going off on my jag, and we don't see kids playing anymore. You see them playing on their tablets, but 10, 15 years ago, if you drove down through a community, you'd see kids outside playing, pickup games of basketball or pickup games of football, and you don't see that anymore. Whether it's because they're sports specializing and they're just doing, they're doing soccer 3 or 4 times a week, or they're just inside on their phone, or they're doing the 3 hours of homework that seems to be required by 7-year-olds. And kids aren't allowed to play in the way they were in the past, and that comes out in movement, and it comes out and then that raising problems comes out in safety later on when you're playing sport.
Yeah, and I'll even add to that. I totally see that. I distinctly remember the days when I would just leave a note from my mom saying I'll be back, at 5 p.m. Right. And then I would just go ride my bike and go play and do things. You just don't see that anymore. I would also add that adults don't play enough anymore, I think.
And that is another thing.
Yeah.
That it's problematic. Mikki's talking about that a little bit too. Although we don't really jet into the adult side of things very often.
Yeah, I know Dan John was an early episode on this podcast, and he's a huge proponent that adults need playtime, and whatever that is, even joining a kickball league or whatever it is, just get out and express yourself physically in a fun environment. This is a hard question because we have a community of gym owners, facility owners that we work with and help them with their marketing. And one of the big things that always seems to come up is people want to do a high school athletics or a preteen athletics program at their gym. They're dying to do it, but they always find difficulty getting traction, getting it started. Do you guys assist people with that, or do you have any tips for people who are trying to get that off the ground?
I think I missed the question. Are you asking how to start a soccer league?
No. I would say if you're a gym, if I'm a gym owner, right, and I want to get this whole program off the ground. I just need to get a start, and of course talking to your current clients and asking them, what they think if they have their kids want to get joined. But do you guys, when people join BrandX or when they get the BrandX way, is that something you assist people with, or do you have any tidbits on how to actually just step one of getting this program going?
Step one, get the knowledge. Okay. Too many people, honestly, we see people do things backwards, in our opinion, backwards. People go out, they see a market, and I really, so that's problematic in the first place. You try not to approach children as a market. You have to want to help kids and that's really the best way to start the process. Then the next thing is they'll want to start the program. Well, they really don't have the experience, generally don't have the experience. They generally are adult trainers, so they're trying to scale down their adult program to do this with the kids. And then they come, maybe 6 months in, they've got 10 kids, and they come back and go, okay, well, now I want the training. And now you've got to readjust everything that you're doing. and your program's not thriving. So, so that's like just from the business standpoint, like that. From the standpoint of somebody that works with kids, there's two things that scientists, researchers who work with fitness with kids say, and like the American Academy of Pediatrics endorses, and that is that if you're going to work with children, you need to be trained to work with kids, and you need to have a program that is specifically designed for kids. So let's just kind of start. That's your base. Like you've got to have the training to work with kids, understand their developmental needs, and then you have to use a program that's not just scaled down adult program. And the next thing is, where do you get your clients? So, the first easy, the low-hanging fruit is the members of your gym, which is always awesome if you've got 30s to 40s. But if you're in the demographic downtown San Diego where people are 20 to 28, what are you going to do? You're not going to get a lot of kids. So you can approach schools. That's one thing is, you approach the school, especially if you're going preteen teen, you can approach middle school and high school, talk to the athletic director to see if you can put on camps and things like that. You can start to get kids to come in, hey, I'd like to come into a camp for weightlifting. Teach your kids to be safe when they pick stuff up off the ground, or help your football team to be safe when they're squatting and power cleaning, show them the points of performance, and then try to develop that kind of relationship with that. The other one is club sports. Go after the traveling clubs and things like that. One of the things we've done for the last 3 years is have a fairly high level soccer team come in. So I got 15 young ladies coming in, and some of them stick. But before the season starts, I'm talking to their coach. They come in, 6 weeks before the season, and they work out with us throughout the season. We're working on, so the programming is a little different. It's working on safety for the kids. I'm working on strengthening for the kids, but you also get the opportunity to hone your skills, because I've got 15 new kids coming in. I've got to teach them how to squat. I've got to teach them how to pick stuff up off the ground. I've got to teach them, how to run. Things like that. So you get the opportunity then to kind of address that. So the other idea, I think, is that people don't seem to go after very often is the club sports. You can go in with a handout that talks about how sports injuries are rising, why those things are happening, why strength and conditioning is important now, and certainly some of the stuff we put up on our Instagram page is readily available for people to go in, like, this is a collapsed ankle. This is why it causes a problem. Here's one of our ways we address it, and things like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's really valuable insight, and I appreciate you sharing that, Jeff. And if for the fitness professionals who are listening out there and they really want to start pursuing the knowledge and pursuing specializing within working with kids, because we need more coaches there, right? How do they get a hold of you? How do they get involved with BrandX? What's the first?
Well, we have our website, thebrandxmethod.com. Instagram, there's a lot of activity on our Instagram. So we're at the BrandX Method, and then they can just always contact me, Jeff at the BrandX Method.
Okay.
It is the BrandX Method. So.
Not the way. Well, this is great, Jeff. I really appreciate it, man. You are an absolute wealth of knowledge within this niche, and I just appreciate you sharing. So thanks for coming on, and I hope I'll be tracking you and seeing how things are going. I'm sure we'll hopefully have you back on again.
I'd love to talk to you again. It's been fun.
Great. All right, Jeff. Thanks, man. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Hey, fitness fans. Don't leave yet. This is Eric Malzone, your host, and I have an extremely special offer just for you. If you go to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/assessment, you can claim your complimentary digital marketing audit. Are you a modern fitness professional? Do you have some sort of online presence? Do you have a sneaking suspicion that your website is not performing optimally and therefore costing you money? Well, this is how you start to find out all the details. Just like fitness, You need to start with an honest and objective assessment. So go to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/assessment, fill out the form, and we will have it to you within 72 hours. It will cover your overall site performance, rank from 0 to 100, how you rank for your chosen keywords, so that's search engine optimization, your website traffic history over the last 6 months, so the ebbs and flows and what worked, what didn't, your website speed, which is highly relevant for people coming to your website and then bouncing off because it's working too slow, your social media presence, competitive analysis, and much, much more. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, but this is the starting point for building your online business. So please take advantage of it. We're offering it because we feel it's deeply important to you and the industry overall. And you can claim it by going to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/assessment. Do it today. Do it right now. Don't hesitate. This offer won't last forever. So thank you for listening. Greatly appreciate it. If you ever need to reach me, hit me up, Eric at fitnessmarketingalliance.com. And I'll be talking to you very, very soon.